Hi everyone, this is Matthew Breuer here. I'm an associate marriage and family therapist in downtown San Francisco, and I specialize in working with people with bipolar disorder as I have the diagnosis myself. I wanted to take today to talk about pride and shame. I am currently listening to the cheers and the crowds of the march along Market Street in downtown San Francisco, and being a part of the LGBTQ community, I've had my own struggle with shame. So I thought I would go back in time and tell you why pride is so important for our mental health and why we celebrate who we are. Back when I was 11 or so years old and puberty started to happen for me, I knew that I was attracted to men. I was looking at their legs or their face and turned on by it, and I could not accept that. I grew up in a very conservative environment, small town Wisconsin, and I also went through a lot of years of Catholic school, and for whatever reason, my temperament at a very young age was very conscientious or a very strong conscience. And so I never wanted to be bad or do anything wrong, and I felt like this attraction to other guys was the epitome of evil. In middle school, I started reading the Bible on my own, and I came across the Old Testament verses that sodomites should be stoned to death, and I thought that was me, that should be killed by the people around me. And so this was a deep, dark secret, my same-sex attraction. And I found some workbooks from some Christian scientists that said that we could change our orientation. And I tried to do reparative therapy on myself, which was very damaging to my mental health. And, pornography on the internet was one of the first ways I got introduced to my sexuality and masturbation. And this is often such a shame-filled topic for everyone in American culture, for whatever reason, probably back to the early days of the founding of our country and the Puritans, that sex and the flesh and lust were thought to be sinful. And I contend that there is nothing more natural than sexuality, having sex, being positive about the body, and being proud of who we are and who we love. And that it is time as a culture in the year 2018 that we celebrate diversity for gay men, lesbian women, bisexual people, transgender people, intersex, queer, questioning, genderqueer, that all these different identities for a lot of people don't make much sense. But I think you need to live your life and you need to let others live their life. Because being miserable just because of all the judgment of others is no way to get along in civilized society. We need to love each other, and if you can't do that, at least tolerate each other. And oftentimes, I've had my own negative experiences with Christianity. I even became a fundamentalist Christian myself and believed that the Bible was the inerrant, infallible Word of God. And I pushed that on others, that if they didn't accept Jesus, they would be going to hell. And deep down, I hated myself and thought I would be going to hell. And that is no way to live. And thankfully, in college, I began studying other religions and almost got a double major in psychology and religion, one class short. And I much appreciate that humanity as a global culture has a variety of traditions. And opening my mind to more than this tribalism that is killing us. It literally is. The rich versus the poor, the blacks versus the whites, everyone, us versus them, is not good for our society. And I hope and I pray to the universe and to all the gods and goddesses that the LGBTQ community, for one, can lead the way and be an example of inclusivity. And at times, I personally struggle with how competitive we can be because I hypothesize I've taken my struggle to be the best and to not be gay, and I've turned it to that the fact that if I have to be gay, then I might as well be the best gay possible. And I think so often, so many in our community compete that we have to be an A gay, and we have to be super fit, and we have to be gorgeous, and we have to make a lot of money, and we have to have a boyfriend, and like all of this pressure to try to feel good about ourselves. And let us let at least this one day or at least this month of June out of the year be about pride and celebrating who we are, however we are, body positivity, fat positivity, sex positivity, and not stigmatize those that are different than us. And on that note, I think a lot of people across the country and the world don't know that HIV positive people are perfectly wonderful sexual partners, that they can be on medication that takes their viral load down to 0, so they're undetectable. And furthermore, there's this wonderful drug called Truvada that HIV negative people can take that prevent them getting infected with HIV. So HIV/AIDS is no longer the death curse that it used to be. This plague that infected, more often than not, many gay men, and is such a horrible part of our history, and in no way any condemnation by God. It is not God's punishment. It is disease, it is an infection, an STI like any other, and we do not deserve to be condemned because of it. And you can see I'm getting a little emotional, and you can probably hear the cheering and the pride, the celebration outside. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to overcome all the shame that we've had for being who we are and just wanting to love who we want to love and have sex who we want to have sex with, however we want to do it, if it's oral or anal or whatever the hell it is, that these can no longer be taboo. We need to talk about our sexual health. We need to mend our self-esteem and not be cast into the shadows and not hate ourselves. Personally, I'm only finally beginning to love myself. I think so deep down there was this hatred of this part of me, this whole big portion of my identity, my sexual orientation, that I've hated for so long. And I am encouraged by the cheers outside and living in a city like San Francisco that tries to be as open and accepting as possible for all the weird and freaky, geeky people that exist. And I know there's a lot of places in the rest of the country where there's not so much open-mindedness. And I want you, in particular, to hold on, keep hope that times are changing, that people are learning to love, and to not be so small-minded. In conclusion, I want to invite anyone in the Bay Area who might be struggling with their sexuality to contact me, and that we can work together to help you be proud of who you are, to accept yourself, and to explore what it means to be who you are. And again, I'm a marriage and family therapist at the associate level in San Francisco, and a gay guy, and I work with people of all sorts, and including those that are in the BDSM and kink community, and polyamorous relationships. So if you want some couples counseling, I can do that. And overall, I wish you a happy Pride and love to you all. Thank you.
Chugga 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 chugga.